Welcome back to Greg's Carport, everybody. I'm glad you guys are here today. Today we're going to do a simple project. We'll get to that in a second. Listen, if you watched the last video on the 2006 Ford Explorer, we put on new hood struts. Before that, we've done a video of a walk around of it, just showing you the condition that the car is currently in. So what we're going to do today is a project that anyone can do. I know a lot of you have done it. A lot of you have probably thought about doing it, but kind of worried about spraying the engine with water, which, yeah, it goes against what we're taught we're supposed to do, right? Anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to use this product right here, GUNK. It's an engine cleaner. GUNK's been around forever. They make all kinds of products. This happens to be the Foamy engine cleaner. It's the one I picked up. Hopefully it'll work. GUNK makes a couple of different ones. They have Foamy, regular. Pretty sure they have a heavy duty one. You can spray it on, you can brush it if you feel you need to, and then you rinse it off with water. So we're going to give this a try today. We're going to review it, use it, see how it works on the Explorer to get that cleaned up. The reason I want to clean up the engine bay on the Explorer is because we have wires and plugs and stuff that we're going to put on there. So it'll be nice to have a somewhat clean engine to work on. So we're going to get to this here in a second before it gets any hotter than it already is. But one thing I wanted to show you is this collection that we have over here of boxes. So what we have in these boxes are parts just for the Explorer. If you remember on the first video that I made, the walk around of the Explorer, I told you that I'm not a big fan of the base grill. So what we did was we ordered an Eddie Bauer grill. I think it looks a little bit more modern. We'll find out. In these other boxes, I have two brand new OEM headlights because the headlights on the Explorer are baked. We have two new OEM fog lights. We have oil filter, we have air filter, we have spark plugs, we have spark plug wires. So we have a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to use on this thing. So there's no time like the present. Let's go get started. All right, we're out here at the Explorer now. I'm just going to give you guys a real quick. See, there's the headlights I told you about, how baked they are. And this is just the base grill I was talking about, where the Eddie Bauer there's like two openings on either side. I think it just looks a little bit more modern. Just my opinion. But you can see that the engine pretty much is just dusty. It's been sitting a long time, so it's mostly dust. We do have a good collection of leaves, but I got a good vacuum for that. Now what I'm going to tell you is just use some common sense when you're using your vacuum. Depending on how powerful your vacuum is, it could break something, it could pull something off. So just use good judgment as to where you're using the vacuum. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm also going to remove this hood insulation. As you can see where this car was parked before, the mice, the rats, the squirrels had gotten to it. So let's work on getting that thing off first because it just looks horrible. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of this real quick. There's no reason to have it in there when it's chewed up this much. So it's held in with these little plugs like this that have the bottom on it like that. Now they make a tool that you can go in there and it kind of pries it off. I normally just come in with my fingers and just pry it off, but you guys can do whatever you want. Anyway, let me get this off. Like I said, let me show you. I'll do one real quick and you can see. So you just grab around it, pull it, grab that so it doesn't fall in the engine where it'll never ever be found. And anyway, let me do the rest. I'll take that out and you can see what it looks like when it's done. So there you can see, just by getting rid of that, how much better it looks. Now maybe some of you guys can, down in the comments, maybe you guys can tell me if that insulation is necessary or if it's just sound deadening insulation. Because if it's just sound deadening, I'm just going to leave it off. If it is there because of some other particular reason, I'll find another one and put it back on. Let's get to vacuuming. Electricity, water, the whole thing. Water and electricity. We'll be fine. Lots of mice or rat droppings down in here. This little valley. You can hear when it hits some of them. Again, we're just trying to be careful here that we don't get in there and get onto something we're not supposed to be on. Let me put the extension back on. Alright, so there we go. We got it vacuumed. It's for the most part cleaned out. So, let's bring on the gunk. Alright, so I got the gunk here, and basically what it tells us is we don't want to overspray into our alternator, okay? Because we don't want to use gallons of water into the alternator to clean it. The same with like over here with the computer. We don't want to overdo. What we're looking for is to clean up these plastic parts. So that's what we're going to do. Now the can tells us that we're supposed to be the engine off and cool, cover up anything that could get wet. But what they're talking about is like on the distributor, carburetor, they don't want any water to get inside the engine. And then we're just going to foam it down, and then we're going to wait about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we're going to rinse it off. All right, let's go. Well, it seems to go on pretty good. I'd say it's a lot foamier of a product than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it would go on quite this foamy, but it's all good. Let's try to get some down here. It doesn't like to spray once you get down here to the bottom of the can, obviously. But you know what? I told you, I've got 2 cans. Hopefully we can get this coolant reservoir cleaned up a little bit, because as dirty as it is, it's kind of hard to see the levels. Get some way in the back. Clean off that firewall a little bit. Brake reservoir. And let's see what we can do about it. Just cleaning up this front area here by the radiator. Now I think I'm using more than I probably should. I can only imagine the comments. But I'm only going to do this once. And so might as well make it count. All right, so there she is, all foamed up, hopefully doing the job it's supposed to do. We're going to give it 15 minutes and we'll come back and rinse it off. So if you remember, this was our before. And now let's go ahead and look at our after. I can see we didn't get some of the leaves we were supposed to get. All right, I think that's going to be about it. Well, wet, I can obviously tell there's a big difference. Now what GUNK wants us to do is they want us to start it up and let it idle for about 10 minutes just to make sure everything's okay. So, let's go ahead and do that. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if she fires up. So far, so good. All right, she's running good. No problems. Seems to be idling okay, so I don't think we got anything too wet. Otherwise, it looks good. I think the GUNK did a good job. The only thing I can say that I would do differently, and this isn't GUNK's fault, this is mine, is I think the next time I use it, I think I would use it with a brush. I also think that it would help if it wasn't quite so hot out, because I think the GUNK started to dry up onto the surfaces a lot sooner than it probably should have. So I think I would do it on a cooler day. Otherwise, I think it looks good. So there you have it, 2006 Ford Explorer. We did the hood struts last weekend. This weekend, we went ahead and got the engine cleaned off. Like I said, I think GUNK did a good job. I already explained to you what I think I would do differently. Next on the video, what we're going to do is we're going to do wires and plugs and air filter. That'll be on the next video. I hope you guys will like, share, and subscribe. Let's build this channel and let's see how far we can take it. Thanks, guys. Bye. So there you have it. I let it run for a good 10-15 minutes. I would say that was a success. The best part of doing a job yourself is the satisfaction, and I love this sound. Trash. You know what that means? That means you save some money by doing it yourself.